Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Hometown Heroes. And I'm really excited tonight because we have a very special guest that we're going to pay tribute to. He is currently a senior at St. Joseph High School in Trumbull. He's a captain, a two-sport captain, both in hockey and lacrosse. He's had an outstanding career in both, and we're going to get to know him tonight. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Caden Mitchell. And Caden, thank you for coming on today. It's a real honor.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
So, Caden, let me ask you, how did the love for hockey really start for you?
So when I was young, my grandfather, so my dad's dad, loved to skate. We used to go to ponds all the time. So when I was about 2 years, 3 years old, he gave me my first pair of skates, which I could barely skate. I could barely stand, so I couldn't skate. But eventually, I grew up and started skating with them in ponds, and then I started taking skating lessons, and then I just grew from there. I mean, my dad played JV at high school, and then never really followed through with that because he played in New Canaan, and it was a big sport in New Canaan. But yeah, it kind of started with my dad and my grandpa.
Right. And Caden, it's a big commitment. And I want to say you were probably what, 5 or 6 years old when you first played in your hockey league. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so when I was 5, I did like skating at the rinks. So I learned how to skate for 2 years, I think, before I started playing hockey because skating is a big part of hockey. So you can't just jump into the game like that. And then about like 7 years old, I think is when I started playing like house league hockey, which is like a bunch of friends. You just play at the rinks and you're all playing together, and it's like a quarter of the ice. So it wasn't a full rink yet. And then that's where I started and I got into it. All my friends were there and I grew into the sport and I loved it. And I played it ever since.
Right. And Caden, the thing of it is it's one thing to learn how to play hockey, but you also have to learn how to ice skate. I mean, you have to know how to ice skate in order to do it. So did you take skating lessons first before you started hockey, or how did that work out?
Yeah, so I took skating lessons for 2 years before I started playing hockey, and I've taken skating lessons up until high school. I mean, you're still always learning how to skate. It's something that a lot of people get better and better at over the years, and you kind of just got to progress with them and stay with their ability. Because I mean, most people could stick handle and do all that, but your feet is where it all starts off. So
Right. And talk to me about the first year. One of the, like I said, one of the leagues you play or the teams you played for that, you played a good majority of your youth was for the Riverhawks. Talk about that experience because not only did you learn how to play hockey, play in a league, play on a team, but you made lifelong friendships as well there, correct?
yeah, I did. So one of my first years for Riverhawks when I was younger, I had Coach Eddie as my coach, which he passed away sadly a couple years ago. But yeah, so starting off that year, we all were. I mean, you can see my dad is on the left too. He also coached. But this group of kids was a really good group of kids, and I still talk to most of them to this day and play high school with most of them, which is crazy. But yeah, this team really like brought us all together. We went to tournaments together. We had a blast. Even our parents were all just got along. Everyone got along, and it just really made me love the game so much.
Right. And Caden, you committed a lot as a young kid because you were always playing hockey on the weekend and you were playing year out. It wasn't just like you played in the winter and then you kind of took a break. You also were juggling lacrosse, which we'll get to, but you were always playing hockey year round. So, I mean, talk about that because that is a big commitment, like I said. And what what kept you to keep doing it? Because you do sacrifice a lot. You sacrifice your social life. You sacrifice hanging out with friends. And it is really, like I said, you know, you have to put a lot of work into it to do it. So just talk about managing it throughout your career.
Yeah, so hockey is definitely a big commitment. Out of all the sports, hockey is one sport that you have to be playing year round. You can't just put your stuff down in the off season and then expect to pick it back up and be perfectly fine. So yeah, throughout the year, I would hang out with my friends at hockey too. So most of my friends came from there, and yeah, all year round, I'd just be practicing and playing hockey. And when I'm not playing hockey or not playing a sport, I would just have nothing to do, and it's like I don't know what to do with myself. So the sport kind of keeps me in check, kind of gives me like a good schedule, And I feel like in high school now that I have hockey, my grades are actually a lot better when I'm playing a sport than just sitting around because I don't know what to do with myself.
Right. And speaking of school, Caden, as a young kid, you kind of went back and forth a little bit. You went to Fairfield Country Day School. You also went to Perry Hill, Shelton Intermediate. So just talk about school and how important that's been to you, because it's one thing to be a great athlete, but you really have to focus on education. That's going to really take you far in life. So just talk about being able to maintain your grades while playing a lot of sports as a young kid.
Yeah, so I went to Fairfield Country Day. I went through kindergarten to fourth grade, and my mom worked there, so I went there. It's an all boys school, and it was very competitive. Like not just in sports, in school too. Like every kid is trying to get the best grade. You're competing to get the best grade. So I didn't always get the best grades, but when I applied a lot of effort, I could achieve good grades. It didn't really come easy to me, which most of those kids at that school came really easy to because they've been in school systems and have parents that get them extra help. So yeah, that's where my competitive level started because especially in school and sports, all those kids were trying to get good grades, and then it carried on into Perry Hill, which I had good grades throughout then and now into high school.
Right. And Caden, you touched on this a few minutes ago about Coach Eddie Lemire. Talk about just what you learned from him. And I know it was always a goal for you and many of your teammates to have the opportunity to play for him. And he unexpectedly passed away, which was so sad. But just talk about learning from him, and not just learning, but what he taught you, not just on the ice, but life lessons as well.
Yeah, so Coach Eddie taught me a lot. I mean, the reason I came to St. Joe's was for Coach Eddie, and I still came to St. Joe's after he passed just to play under his name. But yeah, so on the ice, phenomenal hockey coach, but even off the ice, he just taught us all how to be a team, to love each other, to all the friendships, all teamwork is just crazy things you could do with teamwork and friendships. So that's where my hockey career started. In this picture, you could see he was one of my first coaches, and yeah, it all sprouted off of him. And he grew my love for the game. He'd bring me into even when I was a young kid, bring me into high school practices at St. Joe's, and that's where I fell in love with the school and really wanted to play for him.
Right. And we talked about Riverhawks, but Caden, you played also for the Yale Bulldogs, Hamden Travel. You went back to Riverhawks in the fall and things like that. So you've kind of always been playing hockey and playing at, different for different teams, different leagues, but you've always kept busy with that sport. Just talk to me about the love you have for that sport, because like anything else, if you're going to play football, if you don't love it, that's when you get hurt. If you're going to play baseball, if you don't like it, you're not going to do well at it. So talk about having the love for hockey, because that's why I think you're so successful at it, because you really do love playing it.
Yeah, hockey is definitely a game you can't just like come in and play. You got to love the game. And even at a young age, it just fell into me. I just loved the game. I mean, playing at Yale, it was really competitive. I always tried to play an age group up when I was younger because I was always a big kid getting penalties and stuff. So it was kind of better for me that I played at age up because I was just getting used to playing older hockey. And by the time the age caught up to me and I couldn't play any higher age, I was like easier for me. And yet, just I mean, it just shows like um, my dedication to the sport and how crazy you can be for a sport and how much you want to play.
Right. And Caden, I mean, obviously, you've committed yourself to hockey, like I said, for over 12 years now,
Yeah.
but you've also committed yourself to a sport in the spring called lacrosse, which has become very popular. It's become very popular now in Shelton as well. But talk to me about how the love for lacrosse came, and how were you able to balance two sports like that? Because again, you're playing hockey year round, but you're also focusing on lacrosse as well. So I'm sure there were times you would come from a hockey game and then go right to a lacrosse game. Am I correct?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So lacrosse started off, all the hockey kids in Shelton decided to try playing lacrosse because it's a lot like hockey, physical. I mean, you got to be able to do a bunch of things at once. And yeah, so we all started playing lacrosse and we all all loved it. I mean, I think I loved it the most because I fell through with it through high school, and um, I'm going to be playing college lacrosse next year. So yeah, definitely was a lot to handle with hockey and lacrosse. In the winter, I would be playing hockey. In the spring, I'd be playing lacrosse, and then in the fall, I would also be playing hockey. In the summertime, I would be playing lacrosse. So yeah, it was a lot to do. I mean, I tried to stick with whatever season it is to play that sport and be dedicated to that sport. But when I didn't have a conflict and I wanted to play the other sport, I would go to that too.
Right. And Caden, let me ask you this. One of the things about when you're playing hockey and you're playing lacrosse, you're moving up and down all the time. You're skating on the ice nonstop. You keep moving. And lacrosse, you're moving up and down the field. So, talk to me about the importance of conditioning in both those sports because you really have to be in great shape to maintain those sports.
Yeah, definitely just playing for a while. I feel like my conditioning is very good. I mean, when I was a younger kid, I used to ride bikes a lot, which I feel like that grew my conditioning too. I used to go on like 10-mile bike rides with my friends in the trails in Shelton, and I would do that all day and not even think about like that I'm getting conditioned doing that. And yeah, that's where I think all my conditioning started off and just playing the sport a lot.
Right. So talk to me a little bit about when you were younger playing Riverhawks. Talk to me about some of the teammates that you played with early on and how important was it to have great teammates because you guys feed off each other and some of you have been playing not only from the time you were 6 years old, but you've been playing practically your whole lives together. So talk about some of your teammates.
Yeah, so Cole is one of my captains for the hockey team this year. I've been playing with him since that first Riverhawk picture that you showed, and also Anthony. And you can also see Brady, and Brady was on that team too. So yeah, those are three kids that I played with pretty much my entire life, and just like being friends from since day one and playing hockey with each other now. You know where each other are on the ice. It's like the chemistry is crazy because just because you're always with each other, you always know what each other are doing. Like I could trust you if you do something, and you could trust me if I do something. Yeah, so definitely the friendships off the ice and off the field definitely grow the way you play.
Right. So, Caden, as a young kid, and you're constantly one of the things too about hockey, you did a lot of traveling and not just locally. You went out of state several times to play in tournaments, things like that. Talk about some of the tournaments, memorable tournaments that you had as a young kid that really stand out to you.
Yeah, so definitely one of the tournaments that really stood out to me was Lake Placid in New York because that's where the Miracle on Ice was filmed and the Miracle game was played. So yeah, that tournament was really cool because when we went up, there was about 5 feet of snow on the ground, and we were there and we got to do like you get there, you do some ceremony where they put like flames on the ice and you all walk out and there's a big crowd. It's really cool. And they just talk about the story Miracle. And there's also when we were there's Olympic Games going on. So we saw like the Bogdan sleds and we got to skate on Lake Placid. So that was a very cool tournament for me.
Yeah, and I'm sure, Caden, like nothing else, when you go and do these tournaments, of course you want to win, but just getting to experience things like that, getting to see where the miracle on ice is and getting to play with your friends and have like, those bonding moments with them that, you can never put a price tag on. It has to be so rewarding. If nothing else, I mean, your hockey career, just doing things like that with your friends and getting to experience that with them, that had to be the most rewarding thing for you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So Lake Placid, I don't even think we won a game to be honest with you. It's all Canadian teams of kids that have been playing hockey their entire life since they were born. But yeah, that's definitely a tournament I would remember a lot because we're all just having so much fun. Not even playing hockey, just to be there and be in the moment. Playing knee hockey in the hotel, playing in the snow, skating on the ponds. Not when we're not playing hockey. So yeah, it was definitely really cool.
Right. So back to lacrosse a little bit, Caden. You also played for Shelton Youth called the Connecticut Wolves, correct? And the Connecticut Oilers.
Yeah.
Talk about playing for those teams and what was that like for you? Because it seems like to me, Caden, I don't know if you could put one ahead of the other. It seems like you loved both sports equally, but just talk about playing for those lacrosse teams at a young age? Because I think, again, like I said with hockey, your love for lacrosse really started playing in those Shelton youth leagues and things like that.
Yeah, definitely playing in Shelton Youth was really cool because it was just a majority of my friends in Shelton that were playing. So yeah, that was fun. But also playing for the Wolves, which was based out of Fairfield, you got to meet so many new people, and I made so many friends doing that. And the Oilers, also another club team that I made a lot of new friends at. But yeah, I would say hockey and lacrosse. I love them both the same. When I was younger. I mean, it's grown since I was in high school. I've grown more love for the sport lacrosse, which is why I'm going to college for it. But yeah,
Right. So, Caden, back to hockey for a moment. One of the things you mentioned early on is your father was an assistant coach when you first started playing. And I always feel like this, Caden, that when you can play a sport and your father is one of the coaches, it's a thing that father and son can do, and they can really bond with one another. And, you know, your dad loves hockey, and obviously your love for hockey, he played a big part in that because he encouraged you to play it and supported you through it all. But just talk about getting to play and have your father as a coach and how invaluable that was to you.
yeah, it was really cool to have my dad as a coach. I mean, not everyone wants to have their dad as a coach because it gets more competitive as you get older, which is why my dad stopped coaching me because he thought I should get experience from other coaches. But yeah, having my dad on the bench was definitely cool. He'd keep me in check. And yeah, it was cool to have him off the ice and then tell me act like a whole different person on the ice because you can't just act like you're my dad when you're on the ice. You got to be a coach to everyone and not make you special compared to everyone else on the team. But yeah, it was definitely cool having him on the ice with me.
Right. And Caden, one of the things too, we're going to talk more about your high school career, but when you were playing a high school for St. Joe's, your father would always, you could tell like he was so proud every time you did something well on the ice. He would be the one yelling the loudest out there when you did something well. And you're playing the game, so you can't really hear everything that's going on. But it has to be a great thrill for you to know that nobody is prouder as he is when he's watching you do as well as you're doing.
Yeah, definitely. You can always hear my dad off on the ice or off the ice, hearing him screaming, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. But yeah, he definitely supports me the most.
Right. So, Caden, one of the things that was very challenging for you and your friends, teammates, I could even, it was probably challenging for your sister as well, is when COVID hit, it was really hard on everybody. But you had to like step away from the game for a little bit because of COVID. And also, you weren't in the classroom as much. And I know you went back to Fairfield because of that. And just talk to me about being able to deal with COVID, and it affected all of us in so many ways. And it was just such a tragic thing that happened. But talk about being able to get through that because you were a young kid at the time. I think when COVID hit, you were probably in seventh grade, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. So yeah, me and my dad decided that since I wasn't able to skate with like my team and on the ice, that would build an ice rink at home. So everyone was buying these kits and stuff, but we thought it'd be cool if we bought wood and figured it out ourselves. So that's what we did during COVID. We built our own ice rink in our backyard, and I skated on that every night for hours. And that definitely helped me through COVID because there's not much you could do with your friends. But then as COVID got better, we started playing hockey with masks and outdoors. We play lacrosse because it wasn't as bad. But hockey being in a locker room, you couldn't do that. So we had to get dressed outside. So it definitely messed with like teammates and having friendships, but we still found a way to make it work out. And yeah, going to River Country Day, I went back there for eighth grade because at Shelton schools they did hybrid. So in eighth grade, I my mom didn't want me to do hybrid, be in one day and then be online the next day. So at Favorite Country Day, I was actually in school the entire year. I think we were out for like 1 year, 1 week during COVID.
Right. And Caden, luckily for you, when things started to get somewhat back to normal, you entered your freshman year. So you were able to have a full season, which we'll get to in a second. But was there ever any other schools you were thinking about going to, or did you have your mind made up pretty early on that you wanted to go to St. Joseph's?
Yeah, definitely having a Coach Eddie as my coach when I was younger. Definitely St. Joe's was just one option. that I had. Shelton High was never really an option because they didn't really have a hockey team. But now they do. They have the co-op team. But yeah, I was planning on going to St. Joe's for a while.
Right. So, Caden, talk to me about freshman year at St. Joe's. And the thing of it is, Caden, is it was a great year for you on so many levels. Now, I know maybe that year it wasn't the best record for the team, though I do think they made the tournament. But with that said, you started as a freshman for the hockey team, and that's not easy to do, Caden. I mean, a lot of times freshmen don't always see the ice. They play a lot of JV or they play a lot of freshman hockey. The fact that you were able to start that year, you really had to think that, you know what, the work I'm putting in is really paying off. The coaches see it, and I believe you your first year you played for Chris Nelson. Am I correct?
Yeah, you're right.
Right,
Yep.
and I know that he must have really felt like you were going to be an impact player because, like I said, it's not easy to start as a freshman. So just talk about freshman year of hockey. What would you say that was like for you?
Yeah, freshman year coming in, I knew St. Joe's not having a lot of kids. I would hopefully get to see the ice. I didn't know I was going to be starting, which was really cool for me. But not only did I start on varsity, we didn't have enough kids, so I played JV. So I was actually playing double the games that everyone else was playing, which was really cool. I got a lot of experience, had some fun making friends on JV and messing around, and then turning it on varsity, and it definitely grew my love a lot more for the sport.
Right. Anthony, you talked about the different teammates and uh, yourself, Brady Tomasi and Anthony Gelosa. You guys have played together for so long. As you mentioned, you guys also played with Cole as well. But I mean, playing with those guys for so many years, and then you get to play with them in high school. I mean, just talk about the friendship with those guys because, like nothing else, your teammates on the ice, but you were also friends off the ice. And just talk about the years of friendship with those guys.
Yeah, so I definitely grew a big friendship. I actually grew a friendship with Cole first, and that's where I met Brady and Anthony, because me and Cole played lacrosse and hockey together. And yeah, definitely having a good friendship with them carried on throughout the years, and I still talk to them, hang out with them to this day, which is crazy. But yeah, definitely all started in hockey, and it's grown since then, and I love them so much.
Right. Now, Caden, lacrosse your freshman year, it was interesting because you initially didn't play varsity, but as the season went on, you worked your way up. And obviously, your coach saw just, the dedication you had for it, the devotion you had for it, saw how hard you were working, and he realized he needed to have you on the field. So eventually, you were playing varsity. So just talk. I think sometimes too, Caden, that's got to make an athlete feel better when they start the season and they're not getting a lot of playing time, but then they find their way on the field, which you did. It just shows that you were willing to put that work in and day out.
Yeah, so freshman year, I remember going to tryouts and thinking that for lacrosse that I was going to make varsity. I didn't think I was going to play, but I thought I was going to make it. So I remember at the end of tryouts when I heard that I was only playing freshman in JV, I was really mad. I remember going home and not talking to my parents and being really mad. But then since that, I they told me that I just got to keep working harder and harder. Our lacrosse coach is a very good coach. He sees stuff like that. He's not just looking at his varsity team. He's looking at everyone. He wants to build a program from the day you come in freshman year. So every day I kept working harder and harder in practice and even in games. And I remember we were playing Ridgefield varsity game, and there was a JV game before, and I played really good in the JV game, and I was planning on going back home, take the bus home after the JV game, and he told me to stay for the varsity game, and I was so happy. It felt a relief off my shoulders, and yeah.
And Caden, the other thing about both those sports, hockey and lacrosse, they're very physical. So, I mean, throughout the year, your body's taking a beat. And I mean, when you're playing, you feel the pain sometimes, but the adrenaline sometimes takes over. So you don't always feel it till maybe later on. But all those years of playing hockey and lacrosse and playing physical sports like that, I mean, do you feel like at times your body needs a break or you love it so much you don't care, you're going to keep going?
Yeah, I feel like over the years I've definitely got used to it. Knock on wood, I've never had any serious injuries, so I've been pretty healthy throughout my years. But yeah, definitely there's times where my body's really sore and I need a break, but the best way to get rid of soreness is to keep playing. So I definitely would fight through it a lot and keep playing. I mean, playing a physical sport was definitely my thing. I'm a bigger kid, so I loved playing physical sports. I played soccer when I was a little kid, and that never followed through and ended well. I'd be hitting kids on the soccer field, and my dad was like, "Yeah, we got to be playing a more physical sport," and that's where I got into hockey and lacrosse.
Right. And Caden, one of the rivalries for you guys at St. Joseph's is your neighbors, Trumbull. And you played with a lot of these kids over the years. I'm sure some of these kids that you played with the Riverhawks, they played for Trumbull. I can think of Trevor Minder. I remember him. Um, talk about that rivalry with Trumbull. How important was it for you guys to? I think they give out a trophy at the end of the game. So, how important was it for you guys to win that game more than you want to win every game you play, but that one was very special for you guys as well.
Yeah, definitely coming in, I knew it was a big rivalry. But freshman year, I remember sitting in the locker room before the game and looking out of the door and seeing how many people were there. It was crazy, and I was like, "Geez, I was not ready for this." And then you could tell every teammate, you all come together that game. It's a big game for everyone, not even just the team, but even the school. So I definitely fell into the shoes in that one. But yeah, over the years, the freshman year we did not beat them in hockey, and then ever since we've beat them all the way up until my senior year. So it's been really good.
Right. And Caden, again, you were on the ice virtually all the time throughout your 4 years at St. Joe's. Uh, some highlights for you, and one that I was really happy about was you made second team All State this year as a senior, and that's something that you really want to do. I mean, that's something that's important to any kid. So just talk to me a little bit about receiving something like that, an honor like that. How special was that for you?
Yeah, I definitely was happy when I won that award. I thought I was going to get it last year, and I was kind of mad that I didn't. So this year I tried to work a lot harder to get it. Playing defense, you don't get a lot of points, so it's kind of hard to get recognized on defense. But this year I made an impact, and it was shown, and I guess they saw. So
Right. And another award, Caden, that I know this means a lot to you was the Unsung Hero Award because that player, that athlete does all the little things and maybe sometimes isn't always getting the recognition they deserve. But when you win an award like that, it just goes to show that your coaches, your teammates, even the fans, they recognize the impact you have on the team and what you do for the team. And I really think about this, Caden. It's the fact that there's a reason you're a captain in two sports is because you put the team before you put individual goals. You've always done that. And you're not really worried about if your name is in the paper. You just want to see the team do well. And you're always kind of happy for your other teammates when you're seeing them do well.
yeah, maybe I might have not been the best on the ice at all sometimes, but I always tried to work hard doing the dirty work that most coaches will see. And yeah, I think junior year and even senior year, I played defense, center, wing. I played everywhere. So definitely to get that award was very good for me.
Right. Caden, what were some of we talked about Riverhawks and we talked about some of the tournaments, but let's stay with hockey for a minute. What are some of the highlights for you? Obviously, beating Trumbull, of course, but what were some of the highlights throughout your 4 years at St. Joe's that really kind of um, stand out to you?
Yeah, so definitely one of the biggest highlights for me at St. Joe's was freshman year. We beat Darien 5-1, which I don't think a St. Joe's team has ever beat Darien. We played them at Darien, so it was a crazy game, and we did not think we were going to win at all. But then I guess they took us very lightly, and we came out on top 5-1 and shocked the entire state. It was a crazy game, but that's definitely one of the most memorable things in for my hockey career at St. Joe's. But the other ones are definitely the Trumbull games. Those are a big thing for me.
Right. Now let's get to junior year at Lacrosse, Caden, because it was a big year, not only for you, but for the team. They made it to the finals and it was a heartbreaking loss, but what a game it was. It went back and forth. I think the final score was 15-14. But talk to me about junior year at Lacrosse, because I really believe, Caden, and I could just be guessing, but I really believe it was that season where the love for lacrosse really took over for you, and where you really decided you wanted to play lacrosse in college, because it was such a great year, and it was, to be a part of a winning team like that, and you had such a terrific year. I really believe that that season, was a turning point for you in your career.
Yeah, so even sophomore year, we actually made it to the state championship and lost to Weston, which we thought we were going to beat because we beat them in the regular season. But yeah, so I definitely grew a love for the game sophomore year, and then that just made me mad for junior year, and we knew we had a chance at it. We got moved up 2 classes, so we're in class S sophomore year. We got moved up to class L because they added a double L in the lacrosse. So we knew it was going to be a challenge, but we knew we had the team to make it there. And falling short, 1 goal in the championship really sucks. So hopefully we could do well this year.
Right. And talk to me about this, Caden. To be a captain in 2 sports, it's hard to even be a captain in 1 sport, especially at a school like St. Joe's where there's so many great athletes, a lot of kids. It's not easy. So the fact that you were selected to be a captain in 2 sports, I mean, that's got to make you very proud. Now, I know you're a young kid, and I think maybe as you get older, you'll really understand it more, like what that meant. But it's got to be for you one of the biggest highlights of your high school career to be a captain in both hockey and lacrosse.
Yeah, so I actually remember coming in freshman year in my English class. We wrote goals for our future self. So one of my goals by senior year, I wanted to be captain of hockey and lacrosse team. And I actually just remembered this goal when I became captain of the hockey team, and I was really proud of myself. I didn't even think it was going to happen, and then now that I'm here, it's like crazy that it happened, and that was my goal freshman year. So yeah, it definitely plays a big role that I'm captain of both teams. But yeah, I kind of just always at everything for hockey and lacrosse, and just fell into my spot to be captain. And yeah, it's really cool.
Right. So talk to me, Caden. How is St. Joe's doing right now this year in lacrosse? How are you guys doing thus far? And obviously, I would think the goal is to get back to the final and win this year.
Yeah, definitely. We're doing good this year. We have a really good defense. A bunch of seniors that are still there, and we all play really good together. We actually just lost to New Canaan 5-1, which New Canaan is the best public school in the country. So it's really cool to see our defense, and they're really mad about that game because our defense was lights out and we played really good. So our offense is getting there. It always takes long for the offense to click, but yeah, I think we have a good shot at it this year.
Right. And Caden, the thing of it is too, is in both hockey and in lacrosse, you guys play very tough physical teams. And you talked about New Canaan, then there's Darien, and then last year I think it was Cheshire in the final, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, when you're playing teams that are physical like that, big teams, week in, week out, and sometimes you play twice a week. I mean, really, it's a credit to the fact that this, especially the lacrosse program, has been able to be so successful because, again, you know, you got to hope you get through the season without any serious injuries, but it could always happen when you're playing physical teams like that. So, I mean, it says a lot about you and your teammates and how hard you guys work, because you guys always bring your A game every game.
Yeah, definitely being in the FCI, you get exposed to a lot of good talent for every sport, not just hockey and lacrosse, but definitely with lacrosse. Connecticut actually has a really good lacrosse team. So I'm pretty sure we have the best public schools in the country playing lacrosse, and even boarding schools like Brunswick. I mean, they're one of the number 1 teams in the country as well. So yeah, you definitely get exposed to a lot, and it's really cool to watch like college lacrosse now, and you're seeing kids that you were playing against last year, and it just shows how good of the competition you're playing, being in Connecticut and being and playing for St. Joe's.
Right. Caden, I talked about your father coaching you and what a thrill that was and being able to have that bond with him. But your mother, when it comes to being your biggest fan, the one that's always cheering the loudest, and she gets very emotional when she sees you do well. I mean, she really is your biggest fan in the stands. She loves watching you play. And just talk about having supportive parents, because they have to, sacrifice a lot too, Caden, because their weekends, a lot of times they're driving you to different tournaments, things like that. And having their support really has to mean a lot. And I'm sure it's comforting when you're having a tough game and your mother just she doesn't always have to talk to you about hockey or talk to you about lacrosse. She kind of just tries to talk to you to cheer you up in a different way and not always, make you realize that there are more important things than the game. So just talk about having the support of your parents.
Yeah, so definitely I don't think I would be where I am right now without my parents. They're very supportive. My mom and my dad, I feel like after games, if I had a bad game, my dad would tell me what I did bad straight up, and then my mom would be there for me, support me after my dad screaming at me. So yeah, it definitely played a big role in my life, having really two really supportive parents, and even my sister coming to all my games. So yeah, I really don't think that I would still be playing sports if it weren't for them being dedicated, going to the rink at random times throughout the week. Yeah, even senior night for my mom and my dad, it was really emotional because that's probably one of the last times that I'll be playing hockey, and it just shows their emotions and my emotions, how much we've grown for the sport and how much we all love each other and we're always there for each other.
Right. And Kaden, talk about senior night because that's a special moment. I can remember last year's senior night for St. Joe's, and that was an emotional moment for those seniors. And I got to really see that. And you could just see how much they love hockey, but how much they love each other as well. They've played with each other for so long. And you, Cole, and Anthony have been playing together forever. So just talk about what senior night was like for you. And, I brought this picture up and I'll put it up again because this is really what it's all about, Caden. These people, they have been your biggest support system from day one. And you could see the emotion on your mom's face and you could see
Mhm.
it on your dad's as well and your sister. So just talk about what senior night was like for you.
Yeah, senior night was hard for me. I mean, it was one of my last times playing hockey and playing at the rinks, which was really sad. But not even that, just my family, just seeing their emotions really made me sad. But yeah, it was kind of a sad moment because I've been playing hockey for forever now, and for it to kind of wind down is kind of sad for me because I've put so much time and dedication in. But it's also so hard to go to college for hockey, so that's kind of why I stuck to lacrosse. But I'll probably be skating in men's league when I'm in college and keep my feet on the ice.
Right. And let me ask you, Caden, you have a history with St. Joe's. I mean, it's your school. You went all 4 years, and you're always going to take a little bit of St. Joe's with you. But what has it meant to be a student at St. Joe's for all these years? Because I mean, again, you made new friendships. You met people you didn't know before. Uh, Going to the finals 2 years in a row with lacrosse, that's a huge thing. The hockey memories, even though like I know like the record wasn't what you would hoped it had been in hockey, you still got to share these great moments, have these great wins against Trumbull. So just talk about what it's meant being a student and an athlete at St. Joe's.
Yeah, St. Joe's is definitely a really competitive sports school, but not even that. Just it being a small school, everyone knows each other, everyone's friends with each other. Each other. You feel so welcomed when you walk into the doors, and you could talk to anyone about anything, even if you're having problems at home. All the teachers even are always there for you, and it's really cool to come to school and know that everyone's supporting you, and that you always have someone, even if it's not your family, but someone at school to help you.
Right. And now, Caden, you mentioned this a couple of times throughout this interview that you are going to continue to play lacrosse in college. And I believe you're going to play for Roger Williams, correct? So talk
Yeah.
about what signing day was like for you and what that meant for you and just what how for how much forward are you looking to play in college lacrosse at college?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to be playing lacrosse. I mean, during high school, I grew love a lot more love for the sport lacrosse. You can see my coach here; he's a really big plays a really big role in my life. I mean, not even just on the field; he was always there for me. I'd have Zoom calls with him, talking about what I want to do, and not even just what I want to do with sports, but what I want to do with my life when I graduate. So yeah, I picked Roger Williams because they have a really good construction management program, which I figured out uh, through long times. That's what I want to do. I decided I didn't want to sit in an office and I like doing stuff with my hands, so I thought that would be a good fit. But doing that and also being able to play a sport that I love is really cool.
Right. So, Caden, let me ask you this. What message would you send for a young kid who's maybe 9 years old that's playing hockey or is playing lacrosse and they really want to take it to the next level? What advice would you give to that kid who's really trying to get to that next level, either hockey or lacrosse?
Yeah, one thing I would just definitely say is just be all in. Don't slack off. I mean, it comes down to you're going to be a senior one day and you're going to maybe not be playing the sport anymore if you're not going to college. And just there's times where I wish I put a lot more effort into the sport. But yeah, just be all in, be there, give it your all. And yeah, that's one thing that I would say.
Right. So, Caden, before we go, what would you say has been the most rewarding thing about not just your athletic career, but your high school career, as a young kid? What do you think has been most rewarding to you?
Yeah, so there's definitely been a lot of things, but one thing is definitely going to college to play lacrosse. There's not a lot of kids that play even an NCAA sport, so just being able to be one of the people that does is really cool to me, and I'm really excited for next year.
Right. Well, Caden, I wish you the best of luck. I want to thank you for giving me a few minutes today. It was a real honor for me. First off, I want to congratulate you on not just a great athletic career, but a great scholastic career as well. You're a credit to your family, you're a credit to your friends. And I know you're going to do great things in college and you're going to do great things with your life. So I applaud you for everything you're doing right now and just keep up the great work. And thank you for giving me a few minutes today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
No problem. Well, there you have it, folks. You just got to know Caden Mitchell this last hour. And the thing I take out of this interview more than anything else, what you could see from Caden is he not only sets the example on the field, on the ice, he also sets the example off the ice and off the field. He's a great role model, somebody that, young kids can really look up to. He has a great work ethic, but with all of that, it's his dedication and determination to be the best he could be in life that really stands out about him. He's not afraid to take the extra step. He realizes that success is not an elevator. You must climb stair by stair. Well, I think it's safe to say that Caden has reached the top step. For Hometown Heroes, I'm Mike Kenichi saying, good night, everyone.
Thanks, Mike.